Big good one here, and eventually we will like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff, help promote and rank up my channel. Here to review She-Hulk.
Does not deserve your praise. She does not deserve the power she stole from the Hulk.
Can we stop this?
And she's a slut.
Episode 8. I've crapped all over this show. I have crapped all over this show, but this is the best episode of the worst show on TV. The reason I don't really get these reviews out on time is because I go to work at 3 o'clock in the morning, the exact same time all this drops, so I'm just jumping right into this review. I busted my ass to get off early, full speed, non-stop, and here I am. What? Daredevil, Charlie Cox as Matt Murdock, Daredevil. Charming and charismatic as always. Has real chemistry with Tatiana Maslany as Jennifer Walters.
Your heart's beating pretty fast.
Daredevil does the walk of shame in this for being in this show.
Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk with you again.
Literally, he does the walk of shame. Him and Jennifer get it on. And she puts out pretty easy and quick. That could be a criticism.
She's a slut.
What? No, I'm healthy.
Okay.
In this case, I applaud.
Virgin, touched for the very first time.
Every scene Daredevil or Matt Murdock is in this show is actually good. And almost as every scene he isn't just highlights this show's problems, along with the recap that this episode opens with. It opens with the worst of the show, the twerking. It's the recap just highlights how awful this show has been, and then the rest of the episode shows how it should have been.
I've done this a million times.
Who has the superpowers here? Oh, I'm pointing at myself.
The whole time, the courtroom dialogue actually sounds legitimate, intelligent, unlike the rest of this show, where it's sounded like it was written by a brain-dead goldfish scribbled with a crayon by a penis on a shit-covered piece of toilet paper. This episode, though, was awesome. Really awesome.
I love you.
They got the costume guy going to court because Leapfrog idiot find him idiotic and stupid. But the Charlie Cox stuff, I think it's all well written. It's all pretty solid. They do have a fight scene between She-Hulk when she first encounters Daredevil. It is pretty obvious CGI and doesn't look that great. And She-Hulk does some pretty outrageous things in here. Like, she tries to smash him. It pulverizes the pavement because she misses him. Were you trying to kill him? Then she throws somebody's car at him. What are you doing? You're trying to kill somebody?
You need to back off.
Somebody's car, woman. You can't just throw that. But she does go savage She-Hulk by the end of the episode. And Daredevil in here almost gets, for a moment, thought he might get one of those epic hallway fight scenes where he just goes non-stop. But She-Hulk comes in and smashes a bunch of people, which is kind of disappointing, but expected, because I don't expect them to pull off that kind of fight choreography for a show like this with the people running this show. He doesn't come off like a buffoon in here. He's actually intelligently written. It's not like he's suddenly Thor, who's a complete dumbass these days.
Well, you're right.
It was a pretty solid episode with its share of action.
My ass remains unwhooped.
Yeah.
A lot of silly stuff in here, along with the lily pad base. but it actually works. It all actually worked. Now, the real negatives on the episode is when she finally goes to this female lawyer of the year, and you've got this guy talking about they just do, women do it in heels and they do it backwards. That stuff is pretty dumb and off-putting. Look, this is really what these women behind the show think of men, how men perceive women. Also, when it comes to female lawyer of the year, it sounds really patronizing.
Boys have a penis, girls have a vagina.
It's that mentality. Is there a male lawyer of the year? Why are we giving out awards based on who has a penis and vagina, or in this case only a vagina, because there is no male lawyer of the year? This stuff is patronizing. Intelligentsia, who they still haven't shown, releases this sex tape of She-Hulk, and she goes savage. She-Hulk starts to snarl and stuff and really lose control. That's interesting. Breaking the fourth wall in this episode doesn't really work. What's Daredevil does the walk of shame out of this show, and the show just kind of stops working for me, because you've got her breaking the fourth wall, talking about, oh, what's to come, what's gonna happen next, and we just go back to the failures of the show. That the recap really highlighted all of, Jesus. Anyways, I thought this was actually a good episode, and I've got no problem with it. Charlie Cox worked for me. Yes, he does have a bit more of a sense of humor in here, but it doesn't come off like it's not him. The yellow suit, I think, is... I want him to go back to the other suit, but he does have that yellow suit in the comics, and it's interesting to see him in a different suit. Like I said, CGI, not so great. This does give me hopes, though, for the Daredevil Born Again series, that it won't be completely dumb, stupid. Daredevil won't be a complete joke, because this was pretty solid. I can't believe I'm saying that an episode of She-Hulk was solid. For the most part, for the parts that Daredevil's on screen. It's shocking, it's baffling. Now I'm gonna be shamed and ran out.
Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk with you again.
But this show has been completely awful. There's no reason for a show to be this poorly written. This episode really showcases... There's just the stark contrast, the opening with that recap, and then having this material compared to all the material that's come before it. It's just so baffling.
I've done this a million times.
Who has the superpowers here?
Let me know your thoughts and opinions of this. Do you think it's still awful? Do you think Charlie Cox, what they did with Daredevil in here was awful? Or do you think it's actually a pretty solid episode? Or have you loved the whole She-Hulk thing from the start to the finish? I think it was a solid episode. Let me know your thoughts and opinions. Be a good one here. Eventually we will subscribe, comment, all that good stuff.
My ass remains unwhooped.
Yeah.